Hey everyone, I trust that you're doing well. Thank you for joining me today. It is great to see you again. So, today I actually wanted to talk to you about the importance of the provider mindset. You know, we live in a world right now where a man's value is often tied to what he can bring to the table, financially, emotionally, mentally, and whether we want to admit it or not, especially the importance of the provider mindset when it comes to being in a relationship. Being a provider still matters. It always has mattered, but more so today than ever before. Now, I'm not saying if you're struggling financially that you're unworthy of love or being in a relationship. Absolutely not. I think that love comes in many different shapes and forms, and that's what makes love absolutely beautiful. But relationships require more than just love between two individuals. At some point or another, you know, at the early onsets of a relationship, the first couple of years in particular, you know, we talk about limerence being that kind of gaga feeling that you have for your partner. You want to be with them all the time. You are thinking about them all the time, and everything just feels so euphoric, right? Eventually, and some might argue that this doesn't happen, but there's enough evidence to support that it does happen, that unfortunately subsides at one point, especially, you know, after the fourth year, fifth year mark, and even more so for those that for individuals that have children, because interestingly enough, I actually heard a quote recently where while having children, it is a sacrifice. There's no question about it. You kind of lose your partner in the process, in the relationship. You lose that feeling that you had initially when you first started, you know, dating, and now you're caring for a human being which you've brought in this world, and all your energy is going towards that child, to make sure that, you know, it's well taken care of, and you are providing, right? Now, this video in particular is not towards shaming men. Absolutely not. Quite the contrary. I want to be able to bring some of my personal experiences to this situation, to this video. It's more that men are faced with this more so than women. You know, we live in a world where I feel like you can attract a woman by being funny, by being good looking, and by having all these great personality traits. But unfortunately, those for a man are not enough to sustain a relationship. They're simply not. We live in a world today where if you are not being able to provide security, comfort, also on a financial level, you know, eventually, and I hate to say this, and I'm not applying this to all women. Please, I really don't want it to come off this way, but the harsh reality of this world is that a woman will find a man that she respects and values. And it's not me making up the rules. I wish it were, but it's not. And I think the most important thing from this video is to, you know, just be honest about what it's like to be a man and what that thought process is like for someone. And I want to bring my own personal experiences to the conversation today. So if you're a man right now and you're trying to figure it all out, or you're probably in a relationship and you feel like you're just doing everything possible, or maybe you feel like you're not doing enough, I really think that this video is for you, and to be able to help you and maybe also relate to some of my own experiences. And hopefully this can help you make better decisions or understand yourself that much better. And at the end of the day, I think what this video aims to achieve is to help my audience build themselves up and start looking at things from a different perspective, and kind of be forward thinking, you know? a positive mindset. So my first point here that I want to talk about is, number one, women tend to prefer partners who can provide resources. It's just known fact. And, studies consistently show that women are attracted to men who can offer financial stability, resources, and just being able to have a man that they can count on. And I think it's all psychology at the end of the day, right? Because, young girls, when they're growing up, the first idea of a man, the first image that they have of a man is usually that of their father or lack thereof. And a lot of women will gravitate towards someone that, I don't want to say similar, but there's some, it's always a touchy subject because it's like it's someone that they can count on, that they can rely on, that they know that will always be there for them no matter what. And I think that through providing resources, it also, it builds security and trust in the relationship. And I've heard it, time and time again, that there's, especially in this day and age of dating and modern dating 2025, that a lot of men are kind of not wanting to date anymore because they just don't see the added benefit anymore, where, a man will work hard and, the divorce sometimes might happen, and then that man is stripped of everything that he's worked so hard towards, unless there's a prenup, of course, which, that's another subject entirely. I think that subconsciously a woman will always be attracted to a man that, and I'm not even talking about financially, that can provide a home, food, shelter, comfort, security. And relationship satisfaction is tied to, the perceived provider role, essentially. There's a lot of attraction that follows suit with what someone can provide. And if you're unable to provide that, the basic necessities in a relationship, some men might argue, oh, no, my person is not leaving, they're going to stay, they like me for who I am. It's known fact that women mentally check out much sooner than men in relationships. And that's why sometimes we're so caught off guard, and trust me, it's happened to me. And we're just like, what? I thought I was doing everything. Like, what could I have done better? What can I do better? But by that point, when a woman checks out, she's already gone. And she'll check out a year, 2, 3 years, even before the relationship ends, which sucks. And it's very painful to have to go through that. And I think that in the early stages of a relationship, we put on our best selves, right? We're funny, we're charismatic, we're wanting to do anything and everything. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that after the limerence, the honeymoon phase. You should definitely keep, wowing and taking care of your partner. I'm a strong believer in that. But like anything, you get a new car, you get a new phone, and I don't want to compare a relationship to a new car or new phone, but it's exciting. You're like, oh wow, that. And then like a year or two go by and you stop thinking about it. You stop thinking about the fact that it's a new car or it's a new phone, because now it's just a car, or it's just a new phone. And people do that with relationships. Then they start to fantasize. Oh, I wonder what it would be like if I went out with this person instead, or if I was single right now. I wonder, And if you're not able to provide that excitement, that security, especially for a woman, she's gonna walk out. She's gonna mentally check out. She's gonna go off and be with someone else, and it's just known fact. The reason why I'm talking about this today, and this is personal, is because I've decided to stopped dating entirely. I've been single for 4 years. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, I currently find myself in a very different situation than I thought I would be in at this point in my life. I'm 33 years old. I've been laid off twice, and I'm currently living in my father's basement. I'm currently earning half the salary at my job that I was earning before, because I took a job just to take a job, and I'm seeing no signs of future employment coming my way. My mental state has not been the greatest. I compare myself to many people. I do not like where I am financially. I do not like the fact that I went to university and chose a career path that is not of a high value skill set. And I'm finding myself in a place where I'm trying to date. I would say the last maybe year or two wasn't as bad because I was kind of working and I had my own place and I had a little, had my individuality. But now I'm just like, what can I realistically provide to a woman right now? I don't have my financial situation lined up. There's no way I can stay in this current job, currently earning, and I'll be transparent, I'm currently earning $50,000 a year. You cannot survive off a salary for a single person for $50,000 a year before tax. After tax, it's like $35,000 because I'm located in Canada and we're taxed up the wazoo. I can't afford that for myself. How can I be in a relationship and be able to take someone out on a date, make them feel special, and go and do nice things while I'm struggling with my Excel spreadsheet, trying to pay off debts, trying to create a life for myself? How can I provide to a woman if I can't even provide for myself? If I don't even have my own individuality, if I don't even have my own shelter, if I don't have my own shit together? I can wow a woman as much as I want. She might think that I'm funny, attractive, and all that jazz. But at the end of the day, most women in my age have their lives figured out. They want a man that makes more money or on par with them. If you don't, they ain't interested. And if they are interested, that will only last for a certain amount of time. Take my word for it. It's tough. I've tried going on dates. Yes, there's that insecurity, but I've tried to look past it. But you can look past it as much as you want. It won't matter. It simply will not. I cannot build a life with someone currently where I'm at. And that's why I decided to make this video today. Because one of the things that frustrates me the most is that I'm not happy with where I am in my life. I am not happy with my financial situation or my career path. And I think for me, it's important that I lock in, not for a future partner, but for myself. And it's been a reality check. And maybe that's something that you're going through right now, or you have gone through, or you're trying to figure yourself out and you need to take kind of a step back, and there's no shame in that. There's absolutely no shame. But I know what I need to do, and it might take a while. And I'm not saying that a woman needs a man that's perfect. There is no perfect person out there in the world. We're human. We're flawed. We have our issues. But you need to be perfectly imperfect. You need to be able to at least have a semblance of control. And currently I have none. And it bothers me every single day. And without a provider mindset, respect and interest will decline. Once that infatuation fades, a man can't offer security, stability, or purpose. That man risks losing attraction and respect for that woman. And I refuse to be that individual, because if there's anything anyone has to know about me is that I cannot deliver 50-50. I cannot give 50% of myself. I need to be able to give 110% every single time. That's in my work life, my hobbies, That is, I don't know where I get that from, but that's my mindset. And I feel awful inside, and that's a me problem. That if I'm not able to give my 110% naturally and passionately, someone will be able to feed off of that. They'll see it. They'll find out eventually. You can mask it as long as you want, but at one point or another, the truth will come out. And yeah, but it's tough. It's tough, especially in this day and age. The world has changed. I grew up in a world where a man was to go to school, graduate, meet a woman, get married, buy a house, have kids, provide. I came from a provider household. My father worked, my mom stayed home. We went on many vacations. My mom had whatever she wanted. Was my mom happy? I don't know. But at the end of the day, that is the reality in which I grew up with. So, of course, it's embedded in me. But this is not just from my own personal experience. This is just known fact with evidence that women are attracted to men that can provide. So that's today's video. I am curious to hear your thoughts down below on this subject. And if you agree with what it is that I'm saying. And perhaps if you're willing to share some of your struggles that you've had in your relationships, specifically surrounding the provider mindset, not being enough, not doing enough, I would love to hear about it. Because sometimes we can be doing enough, but sometimes we're just with the wrong person. And there's a difference. There's the big difference. And we can be, as us men, we can be very hard on ourselves. And we don't talk about it nearly as enough as we should. So I would love to hear from you guys what you think about this. But that's it for today. Thanks for checking out this video. I'll have more coming shortly. But I appreciate your continued support, and I will always interact with you in the comment section. So thanks again for the support. Take care. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.